Hey y'all, my name is Chelsea and I hope you feel at home here. And today I wanted to talk about stuff, and not just stuff, but having less stuff and how it changed my life. I know it sounds dramatic, but having less stuff actually did change my life. I haven't really shared that much about my journey with owning less because it's embarrassing. But I feel like it can be really helpful to hear just different perspectives about owning things and what it can do to us. So I've said it before and I'll say it again, but I love shopping. I live for a good display. I love the mall. I used to love the mall as a kid, as a teenager, as a middle schooler. I just liked being there. I liked being around all of the stores and all of the fresh scents of the new clothes and being with my friends. And there was just this kind of perception, like you were, it's as if you were one of the mean girls from the movie Mean Girls, or if you were a Cher from Clueless, because you were just there with all of the stuff that you could buy, even if you didn't buy anything. And so I've always loved that. I've always loved that feeling of the new stuff. So for me, shopping has always been emotional. It's been about the feelings that it evokes. It has been about helping me change my mood. If I'm in a bad mood, then shopping is going to make me feel better. And having that new thing is going to help me not be so insecure or anxious, or everyone else has it, so I need to have it too. That's just something that I grew up with. And I think a lot of us do grow up with that. I think it's different based on your generation and things. Like for millennials is the mall, and it's like a Hollister and Abercrombie, and then that grows into other things like, you know, are you going to go on that trip to Italy with all your friends? Are you going to spend your money because you have it, or are you going to save it? And for most of us, saving's not even something we think about. We just think about living in the moment. We think about how I feel and how can I change how I feel, or how can I avoid how I feel? How can I pretend to be that I'm not feeling this way? And I think that for me was a lot of my driving force behind my shopping issues. I'm really thankful that I never had a credit card at 18. I know that is important for building credit, but I'm really thankful that I didn't have access to those things as a young teenager, because I would have totally ruined my life by what I didn't even know was a shopping addiction. And I don't even know if you can call my inclination for shopping as a shopping addiction, because I never let it destroy my life. But I definitely did not see the harm in just spending all of the cash that I had instead of saving it for something more worthwhile. So I would accumulate these things and I would keep them and I would have them and I would just always own them. In high school, I owned like 27 purses. And keep in mind, I went to a school that had uniforms, so it's not like I could use all 27 purses. Also, I had nowhere to go and nowhere to be, and I didn't have a car, so I didn't even have keys for it to hold. I just loved purses. Each one was different. It was a different color, a different style. It was not cohesive to anything that I liked. I just loved purses. I also used to just keep every single piece of paper that someone gave me. I would keep every single card. I would keep every postcard. I had to keep a Post-it note if someone gave it to me, because I felt like I just had all of this sentimental and emotional attachment to these things. And I felt bad about getting rid of them. And I felt like I couldn't get rid of them because I was now the protector and owner of all of these things. And someone gave it to me. They thought of me, and I have to keep that as a reminder. And so I just kept it all in a box under my bed. I just think that's interesting. Like, I kept all of these things, but I kept them in a box under my bed. Like, were they really that special if they were in a box under my bed? There was no hierarchy or priority for the things that I owned. It was all special and it was all important, and I couldn't get rid of anything. Because if I got rid of one thing, then that means I'd have to get rid of another thing, and I couldn't get rid of anything. I had to own it all and I had to keep it. Then I got married. For me, my first wake-up call was realizing that all of the stuff we were moving into our new home, like 95% of it was mine. Not even just stuff from our registry that was ours, but just mine from my life. And some of that is cool and good and interesting and helpful, but most of it was just stuff from storage that I just wanted to keep and felt like I had to keep. The second part of that was, and this is so embarrassing, but the second part of that was realizing I had no hobbies. I graduated college and I no longer had school anymore. And one thing I did have was a desire to shop and a home. And so I would go thrifting or I'd go shopping and I would buy things and put them in my house. And then I would have to clean them all. And I would have to dust them all. And I would have to maintain everything in my home. Because now I'm an adult. And that is part of my job, is maintaining my own home and my space. And I just remember we had been married a few years and my husband was like, you don't have to keep cleaning all the time. You can stop cleaning. Like, you can have a hobby. Like, what do you do for fun? Do something for fun. I have hobbies, I have things that I do. And he was like, okay, name one. And all the things that I thought of were things that I hadn't done since high school. Like, I hadn't done any art since high school. I hadn't been a part of a theater program or choir or anything fun that I liked since, early college. And it just really struck me as so horribly sad. And I'm laughing, but kind of a hard thing to realize that your hobbies have been shopping, spending money, and then maintaining all of the items that you got. It feels so embarrassing and it feels so overwhelming and just depressing, because like, what have I been doing with my life for the past 2 decades? Like, nothing important. I've just been with all of this stuff and it's all junk, and it's not even like anything worthwhile, because I didn't even see any of it as actually worthwhile. It was all just sentimental, and it was stuff that people gave me, or it was something to make me feel better. And it wasn't even something that I bought because I liked it or because I thought it was beautiful. It was things that other people thought were beautiful. I bought something because someone else recommended this dress, or someone else thought that I needed this water bottle or something. Like, it just wasn't things that I actually enjoyed or products that I would recommend. That was such a hard moment and a hard realization, because you don't want to admit that all of this extra time has been not just wasting time, but also wasting funds that could be for a future. It could be for retirement. It could be for a house. It could be for a car you need. And that's a hard thing to admit, that like, you have been doing this thing that has been completely and utterly wasteful. And I'm really thankful that my husband, I'm just glad that he saw that in me, because I didn't see it in me and no one else saw it in me. And I'm just really thankful that he asked me about it. And he was just like, what are you doing? Are you doing something fun? And that was when I discovered decluttering for the first time. I don't even know how I discovered it. I think it was just the minimalism craze started happening online, and I started seeing minimalism everywhere. And I knew I could never do that, because I have too much stuff and I need things. I need more than one fork. So I was like, that can't ever be me. But what could be me is the idea of taking one thing away, or going through all of my clothes and anything that I think is ugly, I just get rid of. Or going through my kitchen and any utensils I haven't used in 2 years, I can get rid of that. Or even worse, just going through every drawer and cleaning out trash. I can do that. And that's what I did. I started with trash and I just worked my way backwards. I got rid of empty containers, empty boxes, half-used makeup. Then I got rid of clothes that I just thought were ugly, that I just bought because they were cheap. And then I got rid of Christmas decor I didn't like. And then I got rid of tools that I didn't need for my kitchen. And it just kind of grew and grew and grew from there, where I was able to build this muscle of being able to say, no, I don't need that. I don't want that. And it doesn't need to live in my house. And it really did take practice to be able to learn how to say no and be able to say, someone gave this to me, I don't use or like it. I can get rid of it, even though it was a gift. And that's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to practice. And it's hard too if people ask about that thing. People get attached to the gifts they give as well. And being able to practice that muscle really builds up the strength to be able to have even less stuff in the future. So then I was able to clear off more and more surface areas and more items in my kitchen and more of my closet. By having less stuff helped me to manage my home better. So I spent less time cleaning. I didn't have to dust as much. I didn't have to have this complicated, it's hard to say, but this incredibly complicated schedule for dusting or vacuuming or cleaning, because I didn't have to dust anything. I didn't have to clean as much. I just had to do the minimum. And that gave me time to focus on things that really matter. And that at the time was like spending time with my husband. It was learning new hobbies. It was learning new skills. And now it translates to being able to spend more time with my daughter and be able to do more things where I'm creative. So having less stuff has given me more time, which is such a crazy thing to even think, where you could have, or how your stuff attaches to time and how it's related. And so having a hard boundary for the things that are allowed to enter my home, or learning what I really actually like and those things can come in, is such a big deal and so helpful, and has helped me save so much money and has brought me joy, because all of the items that I have in my home are things that I love and things that I want to have here and things that are worth the money and aren't cheap and aren't just a recommendation from someone online or an ad that I saw on TV. Having less stuff has made me be in control of my home. I'm in control of everything in here. I'm in control of every item. I know what's here. I know what we need, and I know what we don't need. And that is just so exciting to know that I'm not under the control of the advertisers or the influencers. I'm in control of myself. I'm not being swayed by these outside forces, and that is so freeing, to where I used to think of things and items and clothes and all kinds of things all the time. It would consume my mind. And now it's turned it into thinking about, what do I need? What do I like? What are my preferences? And what is my style? And a lot of the things out there don't fall under those categories at all. They're just stuff. It sounds really cliche, but I am actually less overwhelmed. I am happier, and I have real hobbies now. Instead of shopping, I read, I create art, I spend time with my daughter. Instead of cleaning, I can just sit outside and listen to the breeze. And I didn't have that kind of freedom before, because all of my stuff was in the way. And getting rid of most of it just made space for more important things. I know it's really, really hard with social media and with the internet and with friends to have boundaries and to say no and to get rid of stuff and figure out who you are. But if I can recommend anything, it would be to just really take stock of what you own in your home and how much of it is taking up mental space, how much of it is forcing you to clean every single day, how much of it is forcing you to dust it and move everything around to get to the actual furniture underneath. How much is stuff taking over your life? All that to say, if you are like me and have a really hard time with saying no, if you find yourself shopping all the time, I hope that you know that you're not alone and that there's lots of people struggling with that. I see it online all the time. There's a reason why affiliate marketing is so popular. There's a reason that there are so many ads everywhere. And it's because we have a shopping problem. I just hope that you know that you don't have to do it and you can just be happy with the things you have. And even more than that, you could probably get rid of half of them and be okay and maybe have a happier life. I don't know. It works for me. Anyways, if you like this video, I hope that you'll like and subscribe and share with a friend if you found it helpful. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye.